Good morning, first graders. I hope you're having a great day and you had a lovely long weekend with your family. Today we are going to be reading a book together, and you're going to find that it's similar to many of the Cinderella stories that we've been reading in our distance learning. So let's take a look at our objective today. Today is Tuesday, May 26, 2020. And our objective says, we will read the book Cinderello and complete a story map using a graphic organizer. So let's practice together. I say, you say. We will read the book Cinderello and complete a story map using a graphic organizer. Great job. Today we're going to be reading. You will not need to write anything down at home. Just pay attention during our story. Okay? So let's take a look. Here is our book, Cinderello. You can see it looks like someone who is playing a game of some kind. I'm not sure what's happening here. So let's take a look. Cinderello, written by Evan Russell, illustrated by Alex Lopez. And our focus question, so what we want to think about while we're reading this story together is, how is this story the same as the fairy tale Cinderella? How is it different? Okay, so what are the things that are the same and different about Cinderello and Cinderella? You can see it looks like someone is doing a lot of work right here in their yard. Okay. There once was a young boy named Matteo who dreamed of becoming a great baseball player. He lived with his mother and father in a small town. His father taught Matteo to play baseball. Matteo hoped to be a star pitcher one day. Okay, we know a pitcher is someone who is throwing the ball to the batters for them to hit. One day, Matteo's father died. His death left Matteo and his mother very sad and alone. Later on, Matteo's mother married a rich man. They were overjoyed. Matteo's stepfather had twin sons. Matteo was happy to have new brothers, but the twins, Primo and Guapo, were spoiled, mean, and greedy. They didn't like Matteo. Matteo asked if they wanted to play baseball. We would never play baseball with a runt like you, Primo said. Actually, we'd never play with you at all, added Guapo. They made Matteo do all the chores. And chores here I can see is highlighted. Chores means all the work that you do at home. Look at him work while we play, said Guapo. Just like Cinderella, added Primo. I know, Guapo cried. Let's call him Cinderello. So the twins teased and bullied Matteo. One day, exciting news spread through the town. The coach of the National Little League team was coming. He was holding tryouts, looking for the most talented players. Matteo was thrilled. Primo laughed at him. You can't try out. You don't even have a uniform. Father, please tell him it would be silly, said Guapo. Their father agreed, and he forbade Matteo from trying out. Forbade means that he said, you can't do it. I won't let you. Later, he was watching the other boys practice when he heard someone calling his name. It was the lady from the taco cart. How do you know my name? Mateo asked. Because I am your fairy godmother, she answered. Think about how this is similar to Cinderella. What's wrong? She asked. I'm not allowed to play and I don't have a uniform, he said. She waved her magic spatula. In an instant, Mateo was transformed. Mateo looked down to see he was dressed in a fancy new uniform. Now no one will recognize you, the fairy godmother said, but you must go home the minute tryouts end. Mateo went to the tryout in his new uniform. The coach told Mateo to try pitching, and he got every boy out. What a pitcher, the coach cried. For the tryouts later that day, the boys played a game. Mateo won the game and everyone was happy and hopeful. With such a good pitcher, their team could win the Little League World Series. The minute the game ended, Mateo tried to leave, but boys and fans crowded around him. Mateo lost one shoe, but he got free and ran home. On the way, the rest of his uniform changed back to his raggedy old clothes. The next day, the coach went through the town. He had every boy try on the shoe. Finally, the coach arrived at Mateo's house. The twins almost knocked each other over in a rush to try on the shoe. No matter how hard the boys wiggled their toes and pushed, it was still too small. Then the coach spotted Mateo. Come here, my boy, and try on this shoe, the coach said. The twins guffawed. That means they laughed. But when the shoe slipped on perfectly, they both gasped, Cinderello! Mateo looked at the twins and said, My name is Mateo. Mateo will be our captain and he will lead us to victory, the coach announced. Turning to the brothers, the coach added, and you two will be our towel boys. The end. Okay. I hope you enjoyed that story of Cinderello. I'm going to go back to the beginning. All right. Let's think about completing our graphic organizer. Okay, first, can you think of the characters in the story? Who was in the story? Of course, there was our main character. What was his name? Who the twins called Cinderello. What was his real name? Right, his real name was Mateo. Who else was in the story? Mateo's stepbrothers, and their names were Primo and Guapo. Can you think of anyone else? Good, Mateo's stepfather and his mother and the coach. Awesome. What was the setting of this story? Where did the story take place? Let's go back to get some reminders. Okay, so here where Mateo is doing all of these chores while the twins play, you can see he is here. That's right, he's at home. Okay, so one of the settings is Mateo's house. Let's write that here. Mateo's house. Let's see if we can find any other settings. All right, let's see. There's the tryouts. He's still at his house here with his stepfather and stepbrothers. Okay, where is he here? It says he's watching the other boys practice. And there's a taco cart with his fairy godmother. He is at the baseball field. So we're going to put that here. Let's see if there's any other settings in the story. Okay, still at the baseball field. I can tell by looking at the pictures where he is. And then he's back at his house. So it looks like those are two settings in this story. The baseball field and Mateo's house. And then what were the main events in the story? Here is where we have to be careful. We don't want to tell every little thing that happened. We just want to tell kind of what happened in the beginning, in the middle, and at the end of the story. So what happened, let's put beginning. What happened in the beginning of the story? Some of the details may not be as important. Let's see. Okay, here is a main event at the beginning. So Mateo's mom marries a rich man who makes Mateo do lots of what? That's right, lots of chores. So in the beginning of the story, let's write Mateo's mom marries his stepfather who makes Mateo do many chores. What happened in the middle of the story? Good. Mateo wants to try out for the baseball team, but his stepfather says no. Okay. Let's see. So here's one event in the middle. Mateo wants to try out for the baseball team, and his stepfather says no. What happened next in the middle? Let's add some more details. What did the fairy godmother do? The fairy godmother gave him a uniform so he could try out, and he does very well. Okay, let's add that detail. Fairy godmother gives him a uniform, he tries out and does great. And what happened at the end of the story? The coach finds him when what happened? The coach finds Mateo was the boy from tryouts when his shoe fit. Very good. So we now know what happened at the beginning, the middle, and at the end of the story Cinderello. When I see you tomorrow, we're going to identify some character traits. So I want you to think about what Mateo was like as a character, and what his stepbrothers were like as characters, because we will be adding those details tomorrow. All right? Hope you guys have a good day. I'll see you back on Wednesday. All right.